we are going to discuss the topic interference. So what is interference of light? Let's start with the introduction. The first theory, as I told you in the introduction video, was Newton's corpuscular theory. And according to Newton's corpuscular theory, light was supposed to be studied in terms of particle. But then came the wave theory of light, and it was given by Huygens. So according to wave theory of light, how the phenomena of interference evolved and all the respective factors were explained with Huygens wave theory. And let me tell you that in the interference of light, the superposition principle plays a great role. And how interference is explained by superposition principle, we will see a little bit later. So according to superposition principle, when two waves superimpose with respect to one another in a particular medium, then the resultant displacement at any point of the medium is equal to the displacement of waves. That is, suppose you have two waves, wave 1 and wave 2. So when both the waves travel in the same medium from one source with along with their crest and trough, these waves are said to be superimposed waves, since they are traveling in the single medium and they are having maximum and minimum amplitude. Maximum is at this point and minimum is at this point. So these waves are superimposed in a single medium along with their crest and trough and having amplitude maximum and minimum. So let's say that the resultant displacement is y. What is the resultant displacement? See, from this point to this point, there is a displacement of wave. This is the starting point and this is the end point. So this one is called the resultant wave. And then for each and every wave at their displacement point, we consider them as y1, y2, y3 and so on. So we can write the resultant displacement capital Y is equals to y1 plus y2 plus y3 and so on, because resultant displacement is the sum of all the waves superimposed in the single medium. So this is how displacement of waves is called to be superposition principle. And how is this connected with interference? Let's see that. Here, as you can see, these two waves are supposed to be interfering at one particular region, that is traveling through one single medium. In that region, we are concentrating on the displacement of the particle. And here it means when they are getting displaced, that is from one point to another, at each point they are actually interfering with each other. That is, you can see that each wave is involving themselves with each other. And let me remind you that when two waves are supposed to superimpose with each other, they have the same frequency, same wavelength, and will have one phase difference. And that's only when they will superimpose. So now you know that how interference is connected to superposition principle, and we call this superimposed region as crossover region. Because these waves are crossing each other at these points, so these are also called crossover region. So these are the basic conditions of interference. Now a question may arise in your mind that why we take two waves, why not one single wave or more than two waves? This is because in order to superimpose and travel through a single medium, we require two sources, and these sources can be point source or any other source, but that should be coherent source, and also monochromatic. Okay, we will discuss the conditions at the end of this video. Now we will see the derivation for resultant displacement. The resultant displacement, that is the capital Y, we told earlier. We just took that capital Y as assumption. But now we will see mathematically how we can derive it. You know the wave equation. So for the first wave, the wave equation is y1 is equals to a1 sine omega t, and for the second wave it is y2 is equals to a2 sine omega t plus phi. Omega t plus phi is the phase, and so taking addition of the two waves we get the resultant wave. So we are adding y1 plus y2, then value of y1 we put a1 sine omega t and y2 a2 sine omega t plus phi. Now in the next step we will simplify this a2 sine omega t plus phi in the form of the formula sine a plus b. You know the formula sine a plus b, so we can write it as a1 sine omega t plus a2 sine omega t cos phi plus cos omega t sine phi. So this is the formula of sine a plus b. Then in the next step we have taken sine omega t common from this a1 sine omega t and a2 sine omega t cos phi. So taking sine omega t common, we can write a1 plus a2 cos phi plus a2 cos omega t sin phi. So now we can write a1 plus a2 cos phi as a cos theta. Here capital A is the amplitude, and then a2 sin phi is equals to a sin theta. So we can number this equation as this one as the equation number 1 and this as the equation number 2. Now a cos theta sin omega t plus a sin theta cos omega t, we can write as y is equals to a sin omega t plus theta. So what is the value of a here? To find that out, we have to simplify these equations by squaring them and adding them. Let's see how. So when we first square and then add those equations, we get a sin theta whole square plus a cos theta whole square is equals to a2 sin phi whole square plus a1 plus a2 cos phi whole square. Now taking a square as common, and sin square theta plus cos square theta you know is 1, so we are not writing it down here. So a square is equals to a2 square sin square phi plus, now we will apply the formula of a plus b whole square here. So we can write it as a1 square plus a2 square cos square phi plus 2a1 a2 cos phi. So now here again we can take a2 square common, and sin square phi cos square phi is 1. So we can only write a2 square. So a square is equals to a2 square plus a1 square plus 2a1 a2 cos phi. So finally we get a is equals to root over a1 square plus a2 square plus 2a1 a2 cos phi. This is the formula for resultant displacement, you know. So what is theta? That is this theta. To because you need to know the angle so that you can find the amplitude. So dividing equation 2 by 1, we get sin theta by cos theta is equals to a2 sin phi by a1 plus a2 cos phi. And from here we get tan theta is equals to tan inverse a2 sin phi by a1 plus a2 cos phi. Now we can take theta as with respect to phi. So now we will come across the term constructive interference and destructive interference, because in these terms we have to find the angle, and that is where the angle plays the important role. So for constructive interference, when phi is equals to 0, 2 pi, 3 pi, 6 pi and so on, pi is 2n pi. That is for even number where n is 0, 1, 2, etc. So when we take 0, cos 0 is 1. So a we can write as root over a1 square plus a2 square plus 2a1 a2. So we can write a is equals to root over a1 plus a2 whole square. So it becomes a1 plus a2. And since phase difference is same, so we can take a1 a2 as a, since the phase is same. So we get a is equals to 2a, which is maximum. So it becomes constructive interference for a is equals to 2a. And for destructive interference, when a is equals to root over a1 square plus a2 square plus 2a1 a2 cos phi, you have seen here phi, if we take pi, 3 pi, 5 pi, that is the odd ones, that is phi is equals to 2n plus 1 pi, we get cos pi is equals to minus 1. So we can write a as root over a1 square plus a2 square minus 2a1 a2. This is the formula for a minus b whole square. So we can write a as a1 minus a2. So if a1 minus a2 is a, then a is 0. So destructive interference is for a is equals to 0. That is when amplitude becomes 0. So I repeat, for a is equals to 2a, that is when amplitude is maximum, we get the constructive interference. And when a is equals to 0, that is when amplitude is minimum, we get the destructive interference. So that was the mathematical derivation for the resultant displacement and constructive and destructive interference. So finally now we will see the conditions for interference. So the first condition tells that amplitude should be equal for the waves, that is the two waves which we take at the starting. For passing them in the single medium, the amplitude should be equal. And then frequency should be equal, I told you, because in order to pass those waves in the single medium, these conditions must be there, otherwise you cannot pass those waves in single medium. And then we require coherent source which is monochromatic. What is monochromatic? Monochromatic is when light source is of consisting of one single color and single wavelength. And then interference should take place in darker place. That is, interference cannot take place in our surrounding, that is in open air, because what is atmosphere consisted of? It is consisted of the white light, which is which have 7 colors in it. And in the condition, you know that the light source should be monochromatic, that is of one single color. So now you know why it should be monochromatic and why it should take place in darker place. And the last one says that medium should be opaque or transparent, otherwise we cannot observe that phenomena. And let me tell you that energy is neither created nor destroyed due to interference. The energy that disappears at the points of destructive interference reappears at the point of constructive interference, and that's how the process goes on. So in interference of light, redistribution of energy takes place. So redistribution of energy takes place in interference of light. So I hope all the topics related to interference is clear. There is another experiment related to interference which was actually performed to prove the interference of light. This experiment is called the Young's double slit experiment. This experiment is a little bit longer. We will discuss it in the next video. and these mathematical derivations and these points and all the basic things I have cleared in the video. So that's all. Thank you for watching.